This is an official emergency broadcast from the Global Atmospheric Threat Response Division. Please remain indoors, seal your windows, and do not look outside. Do not attempt to verify this message with any other channel. All other transmissions have been compromised. At 2:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, lunar monitoring stations around the globe went offline within 12 seconds of one another. The last message received from Observatory Station L-17 was, "It opened its eye." At first, we assumed solar flare interference. But then, high-altitude satellites reported atmospheric anomalies centered around the moon. It was no longer reflecting light, it was generating it. Pulses, rhythmic and deliberate like a heartbeat. At 2:40 a.m., the moon's surface contorted. It did not rotate. It did not orbit. It turned. The entire visible face of the moon shifted, as though flexing a muscle beneath a membrane of stone. Craters reoriented. Shadows moved without a source. And then it smiled. This is not metaphor. This is not a hallucination. This is not hysteria. Lunar craters realigned into a wide crescent, teeth forming from impact scars and trenches. What you see in the sky is not the moon you grew up with. It is awake, and it is aware. Within 7 minutes of the visual anomaly, cases of mass psychosis erupted across 8 continents. Victims exposed to direct moonlight experienced acute neurological breakdown. Eyes dilated beyond natural limit, spines contorted, tongues severed by clenched jaws. Many were found whispering phrases on loop. "He found us," "It's not his first time," and "Don't turn around." Do not attempt to interact with anyone affected. They are not themselves. They are not safe. They are not alone. We have reason to believe this entity, formerly mistaken as Earth's natural satellite, is responding to observation. That is to say, if you look at it, it knows. We are issuing a full Level 6 containment order. Do not look out your window. Do not take photos. Do not try to capture it on video. At least 5 major metropolitan areas have experienced localized blackouts where citizens attempted to document the phenomenon. All devices seized from those regions return corrupted footage. Or worse, footage that continues to change after playback, including new voices, unfamiliar reflections, and footage of rooms the owner had never been in. One device contained a video file titled, "You Left Me Alone." Its timestamp was 3 days in the future. More disturbing, some individuals are reporting dreams in which the moon is speaking to them directly. These dreams are identical across all reports. A cold desert, a sky without stars, and the moon hanging just overhead, impossibly close, whispering, "You were not meant to be here yet." If you've had this dream, report to authorities immediately and do not sleep again. You may be infected with a perception virus, a mimetic parasite that spreads through visual cognition. If you see the moon blink and you believe it smiled at you personally, you are already compromised. Do not go outside. Do not allow the light in. Do not respond to anyone knocking at your door, no matter how familiar they sound. If you hear humming from your walls, that is not your pipes. If your reflection lingers in the mirror longer than you do, cover all mirrors with cloth or break them immediately. This is your only warning. We are not prepared for this. We were never prepared for this. The moon has woken up, and it remembers us. We have lost contact with all lunar research stations. The final image received from the Armstrong outpost was not a transmission, but a live feed that began on its own. No personnel initiated the stream. It showed the observatory control room, lights flickering, every surface slick with condensation as if the temperature had dropped below freezing. On the far wall, someone had carved the phrase, "He breathes through you as with bare fingers." We know this because we saw the fingernails embedded in the grooves between the letters. At the center of the room was a single figure, standing motionless, head tilted straight upward. When the camera feed zoomed without input, the figure's mouth began to widen, not open but widen, like muscle tearing without blood. The last frame before total signal loss showed the figure's body unraveling into threads of light, pulled upward through the ceiling as if gravity had reversed. At 3:12 a.m., air traffic over both oceans reported visible distortions in cloud layers, spiraling funnels with no rotation, like holes in the sky being held open. The moon's light reached down through these holes, forming luminous columns that bent toward urban centers with surgical precision. People caught in these beams did not scream. They only whispered, smiled, or wept silently before vanishing. In many cases, their shadows remained. You may encounter people you recognize who cast no shadow. Do not follow them. Do not speak to them. If they try to touch you, run. Satellite imaging has confirmed that the moon is now closer to Earth than it was yesterday. This should be impossible without catastrophic gravitational consequences, but no tides have changed. No tectonic shifts have occurred. What this means, we do not know. What we do know is that during the shift, the moon's surface revealed a previously unseen formation, a perfectly symmetrical eye carved into the center of the mare imbrium. It opened, not figuratively. It opened, it blinked, and for 4 seconds, everyone on Earth who was asleep at that moment reported dreaming of a door at the end of a hallway they've never seen. The door was breathing. This is not an isolated celestial phenomenon. We now believe the moon is a vessel, a shell, a sleeping entity disguised as rock, and something inside it has become aware of us. It has begun to speak, not in sound, but in suggestion. Your thoughts may no longer be your own. If you have begun to feel watched while indoors, if you sense lunar light even in total darkness, you may already be experiencing internal echo. Symptoms include déjà vu, nosebleeds, brief lapses in memory, and the inability to recall the moon's original appearance. If you can no longer describe the moon as you once remembered it, if you can't remember what it looked like before it smiled, then you have been seen. If you remember the moon having teeth, you have already heard it speaking. And if you can hear it now, this message is no longer for you. Evacuation is not recommended. Movement attracts attention. Lunar light bends around vehicles and may follow you. Homes with basements or no windows remain the safest. If your home has skylights, do not attempt to cover them. The moon will still find a way to project through. Some survivors have reported moonlight crawling along floors like mist. If you see it, do not run. Do not scream. It likes when you panic. It is no longer night on Earth. The moon has replaced the sun. It is always watching. It never blinks for long. And it is getting closer. End of message. Wait. Stand by. We are receiving corrupted signal bleed from another channel. Transcript follows. They carved it into the sky to remind us who owns the dark. But we forgot. We named it. We mapped it. We made it small. So it woke up. And now we will all remember again. We are not the first. We will not be the last. You've looked too long. You've listened too close. And now it's your turn to go through the door. Repeat, do not open the door. You may hear knocking. It may sound like a loved one. It may sound like yourself. It may even cry. Do not open the door. We are still trying to determine how long we have before total influence reaches critical mass. We advise all remaining listeners to write down your memories of the moon as you knew it. Not for you, for those who might remain after. They will need to know what it looked like before it changed. Before it turned its face toward Earth. Before it began to mimic our voices. Before it grew mouths. We will transmit again if we are able. Do not sleep. Do not open the door. Do not look up. The moon is no longer the moon. This is the final confirmed broadcast from the Global Atmospheric Threat Response Division. If you are still receiving this signal, you are among the last. We have lost all satellite communication. All ground-based lunar observatories are unresponsive. Major population centers have gone dark. Timekeeping systems are failing, atomic clocks are stalling, and some citizens are reporting missing time, periods of up to 17 hours they cannot account for. You are advised to remain in place and maintain absolute darkness. Do not use candles. The light bends. The shadows no longer behave the way they should. At 4:44 a.m., a new event was recorded globally. Every reflective surface, every mirror, window, polished metal, even still water, began to show a second moon. Not in the sky, in the reflection only. This second moon is red. It is closer. It does not mimic the face of the moon above, but displays what appears to be the interior. An organic surface, vast and wet, pulsing gently with veins of light. From this surface, something began to press forward, as though trying to be born from the reflection. Those who witnessed this directly through mirrors have gone catatonic or begun peeling their own faces off, whispering, "I don't look like me anymore." If you still have mirrors in your home, destroy them. Not cover. Destroy. We have received one final message from an unknown frequency, believed to be the last surviving transmission from an underground research site beneath Mount. This message was not in English. It was not in any human language. But every translator who heard it across continents, cultures, and religions, understood it the same way. Here is the translated summary. You looked into the eye of God and thought it would blink. It has no lids. It only closes when it sleeps. You have called it with your songs. You carved it on your flags. You wrote poems to it. You gave it names it did not ask for. You told your children it was safe. It listened. And now it answers. At 5:33 a.m., global time ceased to update. The sun has not returned. The moon is in every direction. People attempting to escape underground have reported that moonlight follows them through solid rock. Some have begun to dig upward. When asked why, they say, "I need to see what's next." We advise against stopping them. They are no longer themselves. If you are still human, if you can still remember what the moon used to look like, hold on to that memory. That is your anchor. When it speaks to you, and it will remind yourself, the moon had no mouth. The moon had no eye. It only watched. It never smiled. It never moved. It was stone and silence and peace. But now it sings, and it wants you to sing back. We end this transmission with one final directive. Do not look up. The moon has woken up, and it's coming down.